Folks, the arguments have been heard. The evidence has been evaluated. The data has been calculated, and the conclusion has been drawn that God is indeed a Trini. The latest evidence for this being that we were under a tropical storm watch. And at least for me here in Trinidad, in central Trinidad, I barely got a drizzle. Well, we actually did get a little more than a drizzle, but nothing much more drastic than what is commonplace in the rainy season. And we were under this storm watch for quite some time. It was something that was really in the news. We were hearing from, I saw some people say that this was overhyped by our new Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, who was formerly our Attorney General, and they said that he overhyped it to try and make himself look good. I disagree. That is not the view I have. I don't have that view. I am saying God is a Trini. And before anyone comes in and says that I'm saying something that goes against theology, God is a Trini is actually accurate theology. God is a Trinity. 3 in 1, triune God. Trinidad is one of the two countries, I believe, named after God. Trinidad and El Salvador. Trinity, as in triune God, and El Salvador, the Savior. So God is a Trini is actually sound theology out here. We're preaching sound biblical theology when we say God is a Trini. It's true. But this really has to do with the seemingly unscathed nature Trinidad maintains when dealing with these tropical storms, with these natural disasters, etc. Trinidad has a pretty good batting average here. We are regularly warned, but very often it seems like it just bypasses us. Before we get into that news of the day, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, tell me what you think. Do you think God is indeed a Trini? And this is our providence. We are blessed beyond measure, beyond fairness in this cruel world because God has his Trini passport. Or is it just the wonders of where we are placed in the world? Who knows? Drop a comment, tell me what you think. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not yet subscribed, and share this video to people who may like that kind of content. And let's see what happened here with this storm in Trinidad, or Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad spared, Tobago drenched, Grenada hit. The tropical storm warning was lifted as of 11 p.m. Tuesday. The center of the disturbance, which was a strong tropical wave, made its way across Trinidad during the early night hours. However, impactful weather was minimal. The low latitude and brisk movement speed of the system made it difficult for organization and development into a tropical storm to take place. Whilst parts of Tobago and eastern Trinidad received rainfall from this event, Grenada got the brunt of it, with flooding reported in some areas and wind gusts of up to 118 kilometers per hour. As of 5 a.m. this morning, the system was located. They have the locations there. Maximum sustained winds of 35 knots. Since entering the Caribbean Sea, the system looks more defined, but it still remains labeled as potential tropical cyclone number 2. After the passage of this strong tropical wave, the atmosphere remains generally moist and unstable, so there is still the likelihood for impactful weather today. As a result, an adverse weather alert is in effect until 6 p.m. So rain and a little wind, but no storm conditions. Grenada got the brunt of the hit. Tobago got some showers. East and a bit of North Trinidad got some rainfall also. But for the most part, Trinidad escaped kinda unscathed. We were under a tropical storm warning for the most part, and nearly nothing. And the very nature of how this storm passed, we're going to get even further into exactly where this storm passed. And when you look at exactly where it passed, it's really ironic. You get the understanding why so many Trinis believe God must be a Trini, because it passed, the place it passed and the effect it had seems counterintuitive. Let's actually check this. Coming from the Trinidad and Tobago Weather Center, their Facebook page. Where did PTC2 go? It seems like it has taken advantage of the "and" in Trinidad and Tobago. The strongest winds moved between Trinidad and Tobago. A new cluster of showers and thunderstorms has developed west of Grenada, likely where the new center has developed. Rainfall isn't finished with TNT though, etc., etc., etc. Let's. I have the Zoom.earth website. They track storms. A beautiful, nice map there, all placed for our intake right here, and you could check back in time, reverse the time, send the time forward, see the changes that has happened. So that's the website I am on. We're tracking this storm here. This was the storm at 12:50 on the 20th. That was Tuesday. That was yesterday, according to when you're looking at this. 12:50, close to 1 o'clock, and we could continue with our hour by hour play. If you see the center of the storm here, watch where the center of the storm is passing. The lines you are seeing moving, those are the directions of the wind. So the storm is moving. I hope I'm not sticking as I move this storm on. Right. The storm is moving, hour by hour movement, passing directly on the northeast tip of Trinidad. And you see, you can look there at the main bunch of wind. The main bunch of wind is literally passing in between Trinidad and Tobago. The storm hit the and in the Trinidad and Tobago. And then, on top of all of this, the majority of the storm passed to the north of us. That's why Tobago got hit here. That's Tobago right here. That's why Tobago got hit, the majority of the storm. If you look at where the center of the storm is, and then you watch where the majority of the clouds are, it's to the north of it. So, although the center of the storm passed on the end of Trinidad and Tobago there, this, look at it right now, directly kind of on the Bocas in between Trinidad and Tobago, the majority of the clouds, although the storm was closer to Trinidad, the majority of the rainfall, the clouds, and the wind was actually to the north of the storm and hit poor Grenada. Like, what are the chances of that? Even when we are hit, if you're talking about a center hit for a storm on Trinidad and Tobago, we are a twin isle republic. Hitting directly Trinidad and Tobago might be running through the center, the and. And if this was a fully developed storm, by the storm running through that central point of Trinidad and Tobago, the whole twin island would have been drenched and roofs might have been flown off, blown off, etc., etc. But the storm wasn't yet developed. The majority of it was to the north, and it hit poor Grenada. I wouldn't doubt in this that Barbados might have gotten some stronger winds than Trinidad. Look at that. Look at the winds. The winds here in southern Trinidad are 13, 14, 12 kilometers per hour, 8 kilometers per hour, 7 kilometers per hour. That's in Trinidad at 1850 last night. 1850 is what? 6:50? 7 o'clock. And in Barbados, they were having 50 kilometer per hour winds, 45 kilometer per hour winds. And the storm is literally on Trinidad and Tobago. God is a Trini. And then if we play on from here, we watch the storm as it progresses away from Trinidad and Tobago and see that actually as it leaves Trinidad, it decides to get a little more development. You see the nice spiral coming in there, the feeder bands starting to get a little more pronounced, and as it goes into the Caribbean Sea, it becomes much more stormish away from Trinidad and Tobago. Isn't that a thing? Into today at 7 a.m. today, Trinidad and Tobago is basically clear. We see the sunrise coming. Now, there is more rainfall out in the Atlantic, and there are other systems that are looking to develop. So we are not necessarily totally out of the woods, but we are totally out of the woods of that weather system, Mr. Potential Cyclone number 2. He passed and recognized, well, Trinidad is not meant to be hit, and that's that. But the thing is, very often I hear people say that the attitude Trinidadians have, this God is a Trini attitude that Trinidadians have, very often means that we do not prepare when disasters are at our door. Here's the thing. I don't fully agree with that. I have never quite fully agreed with that. I am of the view that Trinidadians are able to make jokes we are a jovial people. We make a lot of jokes. We joke about even the most serious of disasters. But very often, to me, very often when I look around, it seems like a lot of Trinidadians actually do prepare. Yesterday, I heard the sound of drills on so many roofs. I saw ladders leaned up on so many, because many people in Trinidad and Tobago, some of them have put on have put on their roofs and sheet it off with the galvanized, but they never quite finished putting all the screws down. We all know there are a couple missing screws over the kitchen, and we have a brick on the bathroom in the back. We need to put down some screws to actually hold that down. And I found, when you looked around in Trinidad and Tobago yesterday, the day of the warning, many people were doing just that. And when you looked in the stores, many people were complaining about it, but that says something. When you looked at many of the stores, you saw that many people in Trinidad and Tobago were indeed preparing. From the Trinidad Express, citizens throughout the country rushed to stock up on supplies and at local groceries, while government offices closed at midday. Traffic crawled along the highways and gas stations were packed with those hoping to fill their tanks. Some visited regional corporations by the hundreds in hopes of securing sandbags. Our photographic team was in the field and gathered the images, etc., etc. So you could see some of these images of the Trinidadians indeed preparing for what was to come. Now, this is where I think some people were upset. Some people were very angry because they saw that, listen, we prepared all of this. We went, screwed down our roofs, filled up our gas tanks, bought out all the bottled water, restocked on candles, restocked on cricks, the vital supply. They are not a sponsor of this video, just by the way. And a sponsor of this video is the Mindful t-shirts. If you are looking and interested in purchasing one, just hit me up in my inbox wherever you find me. That's the sponsor of this Mindful merchandise. Hit me up if you are interested. But yes, people got in there and bought all the stocks that they needed to buy. And then at 11 p.m. last night, well, never mind, folks. I saw some memes saying that this storm was indeed a Trinidadian storm. It was all warning and threat and promise I'm going to do something and actually not doing anything in the long run. But really and truly, I put this similar to, I remember something I heard about the coronavirus and the pandemic when it just begun. It would be better for us to look back and say we were over-prepared than to look back and say we were under-prepared. I rather be over-prepared, to be very honest. So lots of Trinidad, I think, actually did go out and was prepared. And it turned out, fortunately, I was going to say unfortunately, nothing happened, but that's actually good fortune. Fortunately, nothing happened. But I think it would be a bit unwise to say, like, maybe we shouldn't have had any warnings in the first place, because there was some effect. Just because we escaped the worst of it doesn't mean there was no effect. As I pointed out on the weather map, even in Barbados, they had 50-kilometer-per-hour winds. We just didn't have that down here. And the possibility was nearly just as much that we could have. We saw that there were some instances, power outages happening. That actually happened in the Northwest, East, South, Central, Tobago, Blanchisseuse, Manzanilla, San Fernando, Enterprise, Mason Hall, Crown Point, Signal Hill, Scarborough, Canby. All had power outages just because of this. And we weren't even hit that bad. So really and truly, it's a good thing we were not hit that bad. Who knows how much worse it could have been. I am glad I didn't get any power outages last night. I just got a little rain. Not even enough rain to go to sleep to rain. So I saw someone say that they had their mind to have a stormy night's sleep, and now they are disappointed. So now they have to go up on YouTube or on some one of those apps and play rainfall to fall asleep. To be very honest, though, I prefer that we had to get some synthetic audio rainfall to fall asleep than having storms pounding down on our roofs. Who knows? Very likely, very often, what happens in storms and natural disasters, etc. Those who are in the most vulnerable places in society, those who don't have the resources to counterbalance these natural disasters, they are usually the ones worse hit and worse hurt. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Even for us who were prepared and had homes that would have survived even a category 5, there are some people who had homes that barely survived some rainfall. So it's a good thing in the long run. That's all I have for now. Folks, tell me what you think. Are you happy that God is a Trini if you are indeed a Trinidadian? If you are not a Trini and you're looking at this, are you thinking, Trini has a good deal with the Almighty up here. Maybe you should come over here. If you do come here, come and invest. Come and invest. We need some investment down here. But either way, drop a comment, tell me what you think. I hope you were educated, informed, or entertained, and I will see you later.